is Rachel DeGale, and I am one of the co-founders of BioConnect Medical Center. We're out there trying to change the landscape of healthcare and change how the community looks at perimenopause, menopause, and postmenopause. We realized that our OBGYNs were doing a great job when it came to gynecology and obstetrics. You had the fertility center, but there was this gap that's really existed in healthcare for women going through perimenopause, and that's why we decided to create it. There was a gap, and we were here to fill it. The solutions weren't there, so the OBGYNs could talk about it, but you didn't have the patches, the gels, the sprays, the creams. It just wasn't. When people are talking about menopause, it can come with a shroud of negativity, and it doesn't have to. It really doesn't. One, there are solutions. There really are solutions. I think one of the most shocking biases was the insurance companies, where when we stepped onto the scene, we were told by the insurance and up to today that we don't cover that. We don't cover that. It's a natural part of a woman's life, and that was something that they were just going to say no to. And I think one of the things that I'm really proud of as well is that we brought a lot of equipment to Barbados. We invested over $1 million worth of equipment in here to really be able to help women on this journey. But one of the biases that we came up against was it's natural and therefore you don't need. But it's also natural for us to have a baby and to get pregnant too. But that's covered. So why were we not covering this? Why are we not covering HRT? Why are we not covering these visits? We've come a long way in 2 years where we have seen advances from the insurance company, but it's still a fight.
I think accelerate action for me begins with education. I think if people understand what is at stake and they understand,
as women in leadership, I don't believe that we have to be boisterous. We don't have to be little men. I do believe that we can be authentically who we are. And people, if they trust you, and trust is, I remember my old boss used to say this all the time. She said, trust is earned. And she was absolutely correct in that. You have to earn your team's trust. And how do you do that? You got their back. You've got their back, from the little details of knowing what's happening in their life to the big things. And I think that as leaders, we now need to be more compassionate. But I think if people know what you stand for, then you don't have to be fearful that your kindness will be taken for weakness. I think that you can still lead strong. I'm 47, full on in perimenopause, completely. I had a complete crash, and I was quite transparent about that on Insta, where I talked about so I hit the wall, and I really went into the deep end of anxiety and depression. All the suicide thoughts, Googled it. What's the easiest way to die? Because I was too tired to even die with any effort. And I will say to you, I have, in the camera, if it's still rolling, the best team ever. My thing is my early morning runs with my girls. We've got 2 friends that I've run with now for 8 years, and we are just those like slow goats. There ain't nothing fancy about this, but we go out, we're outside, you're in nature, you got the sun shining, you remember where you are, and spending time with family. It's a big thing for me. And a good margarita, a sunset, my husband on one side, my daughter and my friends on the other. That's my golden moment.